Welcome to the Chronically Healthy Life show. When you hear the word chronically, do you automatically associate it with chronic disease? We all do. It's been programmed right into us. But what if we can flip that whole idea on its head? Let's discover how we can create chronic health in our bodies, our minds, our finances, our relationships, and of course, in our lives. Let's jump right on in. I'm Andy, and joining me in everything is my life partner, Minna.
So first of all, Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
We're
First episode for the year, right?
right into 2024, and I know a lot of you is probably doing the chronic New Year's resolution thing. It's and how is that working out for you?
So true, so true. So how did we celebrate New Year's this year?
Well, we eat a lot, so that's that.
Yeah.
And we went to like a zoo and stuff that we normally won't do as a local Houston people. But we did that, and it was fun.
Did a lot of light shows that we missed the year before. I think we almost hit all of them except College Station, right? So
Pretty much. So it
yeah.
was fun. And the weather's nice, so we enjoyed it. But we're back into New Year, so we're back into the work mode. So, as far as New Year's resolutions go, right? I've heard some of your clients saying they're going to do like a dry January. They're not going to drink at all. Sure, good for them. The gyms are full. Everybody's jumping in and the training and all that. So there's some foundations to kind of make sure that you can adhere to your resolutions, to what you're trying to improve on for yourself. So there's this book that I read, and it's called The Four Agreements. It's not a new book; it's been around for a while, and I read it a long time ago. But it's I think it was last month that one of the people that I work with, he actually tells me about it. And go, hey, that's a good idea. So I looked up a book summary because I don't remember what it's about. What it's about. The Four Agreements. It's a book by Don Miguel Ruiz. And what he says is reality exists in the mind. You are what you believe that you are. What do you think about that?
I totally believe that, as Jack Canfield success coaches, of course we believe in the power of attraction. We believe that your beliefs bring you to your beliefs will manifest into what you attract, regardless if it's something good or bad. It's going to happen, and it really depends on how deep your beliefs are, right?
For sure. And he also says that our world is ruled by a set of unchanged beliefs that probably humans pass on to the next generation and to the next generation. And that's how our belief is based on what our parents gave us and their parents and their parents. So if you want to break out of this cage, you have to make certain changes on your beliefs, and so that's how you can make a change. So you wondering why you keep making resolutions and you setting goals that you can't meet is because of these certain expectations that you cage yourself into that you don't necessarily have to believe in it.
That's so true. I see that in so many families, in both in health and in their finances,
You see
right?
it a lot, right? Okay,
Yeah.
it's my genes. I can't do anything about it.
And of course, it's also like if the family's poor, they figure out how to become poor again, even though they may even win the lottery, right?
Right. And a lot of, when you hear some people say, oh, those rich people, blah, 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 that's a negative belief. And you kind of have to change it to a positive belief if you want to be, to
One of the rich
have
people.
abundance, basically. Right? You don't have to be a lot of money, but
Correct.
abundance is important.
That's so true. That's so true.
So the four agreements that he basically put into the book is the first one is to be impeccable with your words because words are powerful and they have the power to either create or destroy, especially when it comes to your kids.
So true, and I see this growing up all the time. Even for instance, for my example, I don't know if it was reverse psychology before reverse psychology was a thing, right? But my brother, my oldest brother, and I love him to death. He used to call me, "You are as dumb as a log." Of course, he's saying that in Chinese. And growing up, I was like, "What does that mean?" Right? Dumb as a log, like, or logs dumb? Like, it really didn't make sense to me. But in his mind, it was his way goading me to become better because he thought that he wasn't very smart because he didn't go to, he didn't go to elementary school. He didn't go to high school. So it was him, his way, goading me on to do better than him.
So yeah, so if you're a parent, be careful how you phrase your words. Or if you're a boss, if you just maybe talking to your coworkers,
Hmm.
use words that is impactful and be impeccable because people can really take it the wrong way and it make a wrong impact on people around you.
I agree. I agree. Second agreement. Don't take anything personally. I think this one's a tough one for a lot of people. I suffer from this one all the time, at least initially. Your reaction determines whether the work affects your life or not.
For sure, it's kind of related to the E plus R equals O.
Correct?
So the event plus your reaction is the outcome, and that's one of Jack Canfield's actually that's his first success principle.
Correct.
So your outcome is not really based on what happened to you, but it's about how you react to the event that happens to you. So don't take things out anything personally. There are a lot of people that is going to attack you or hurt you in some way. It's not because you are the target. It's just because they have an issue. So a lot of times people think, oh my God, they're hurting me or they don't like me. It's not that they don't like you. You don't really need them to like you in the first place. You just have to like yourself.
I agree. And to be honest, it's like, do they even really know you? Right. So don't let them uh put their thoughts on you, their views on you, their negativity on you, right? So as long as you're liking yourself, you're doing what believe you're out there doing, go out there and change the world.
Yep, so that's two of them. Now we have two more. The third one, which I think is the hardest one for me,
Mhm.
is to don't make assumptions because bad assumptions often lead to unnecessary conclusions. I know I make a lot of assumptions. I'm really trying consciously not to make those assumptions. That's my New Year's resolution. But even then, when you see a person, okay, let's give you an example. If I see like a young kid, 16-year-old driving like a top of line Porsche and going, yeah, they're using daddy's money, right?
Well, if he's
That's gonna be
16, more than
assumption.
likely he is, right? If he's 21, maybe not, right? But that is so true, and once again, you're talking about rich people. A lot of us may have the way we're brought up, especially if you're brought up poor, that all rich people are evil and they're bad, right? That's a bad assumption, right? You just have to sort of reframe that thought as to how do they become wealthy, and if you were to become wealthy, how would you help people with that wealth, right?
Mhm. Talking about assumptions, I think a lot of assumptions actually comes from the media, comes from the TV show that we grew up watching, the
Hmm.
movies, the social media, all that. So the assumptions is really based on a whole bunch of beliefs that people around us or the TV shows around us, the media around us, they pushing into our brains. So assumptions is really bad, but it's also one of the hardest one I think to break out of, and you just have to be really conscious about it.
And like you said, that's one of the harder ones for you.
For sure. I think so. And the fourth one, I think, is actually the easiest one, is to always do your best. And you just have to remember that always do your best, and no matter what happens, you are doing your best. So there's no regrets and there's no guilt that you need to feel. Just, always do your best.
I agree. That is the best one to wrap up with because if you're doing the best, then that's the best you can really do, right?
Hmm.
There's no
For
no
sure.
spot to be.
No matter how the outcome is, no matter whether it works or not, whether you succeed or not, as long as you're doing your best, that's the best you can do, and there's no regrets. You can live happily ever after.
So, from all these four agreements, which one do you like best?
I think you have to do all four.
Hmm.
To me, like the third one, the bad assumptions is probably the hardest. But hey, I like the fourth one the best. Always do your best.
And if you're doing your best, you're automatically probably gonna be doing the first three anyway.
For sure. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back, Christy is going to talk to her friend Leah.
Looking forward to the interview. We all hope to age gracefully so we can enjoy later years with energy, vitality, and good health. But so often with age, our bodies show signs of things just aren't the same as they used to be. Our energy, skin, healing recovery time, and sleep all go downhill. If you had physical trauma that happened to your body like I did, this happens much faster. I felt like a 30-year-old trapped in an 80-year-old body. But do you remember as kids the boundless energy we had, how fast we recovered? This is not because of getting old, but because of active stem cells inside our bodies. These are the cells that can generate and regenerate all the cells and structures in the human body. They are the building blocks of our organs, tissues, blood, and immune system. They also serve as an innate repair system everywhere inside the body. But as we get older, stem cell activity slows down, become less effective in repairing damage, and decline. By the age of 20, we only have 1 billion stem cells left. By 30, they decline by 60%. By 50, they decline by 75%. 60 by 90%. And by 80, we're lucky to have 50 million active stem cells. But what if we can naturally stimulate our bodies to reactivate and regenerate new stem cells through phototherapy without drugs? Now we can with our LifeWave X39 stem cell activation patches. Reclaim your youth and look younger, feel stronger, perform better, and heal faster. Get your patches now at lifewave.com/chronically healthy life. It's not anti-aging, it is reverse aging.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Kids Corner. So we've just begun 2024, and this year for Kids Corner, we'd like to invite our audience to send in questions that you have. We would like to have more interaction with you and answer questions that are on your minds rather than guessing. So if you have a question for Kids Corner, please send to anything at chronicallyhealthylife.com. And in the subject line, reference Kids Corner or Kids Corner question. And we will do everything we can to find good answers for you that uplift and create a more positive, healthy environment for all of you in your family, for your kids, adults, everybody. So welcome to the show. Welcome to the family. Let's make this year the best ever. And I mean that in every way, because when we're healthy in our lives, in our health, in our minds, bodies, spirits, and everything, everything is just so much better. Okay, ciao for now. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life show. I am absolutely thrilled to welcome my dear friend Aleya Harris today. Aleya's in the house. Woo-hoo. Aleya is the spark for your spark. She's a trailblazer in purpose-driven story crafting and a former marketing executive and ex-Google vendor partner who brings her dynamic experience to her role as the CEO of the Evolution Collective, Inc. Aleya is a story brand certified guide, international award-winning speaker, and the host of the award-winning Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast. Her unique approach as a strategic storytelling consultant has revolutionized the way businesses communicate, transforming workplace cultures and market positioning. With her dynamic energy and proven methodologies, she guides clients to unlock their potential, articulate their radically authentic stories, and achieve unparalleled success. I know I want that. So, Aleya, welcome. I'm so happy to welcome you here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Christy. I'm excited to be here.
So our topic today is storytelling as a tool for wellness.
Yes.
And when you broached that with me, I was just, everything in me went, what's this?
What are you talking about? I want to know more.
It's like the meerkat thing. What? So let's start with talking about how stories can actually be harmful for our health.
Absolutely. So is so perfect that Andy and we're talking just now about the 4 agreements and the law of attraction, because it's really about how the universe works and how things work. Often we're very focused on the stories that we've been telling for a long time. And people, there's the old phrase of, how you need to know your history to avoid repeating it, when it's actually pretty much the opposite. If you keep focusing on that same story over and over and over, that's exactly what you will repeat, for better or for worse. So stories not only can harm your external experience of how you're living your life and the things that you manifest in your life, but they can also harm how you feel physically on the inside. We're going to do an example. Are you ready? You're going to do it with me, right?
Okay, I'm ready.
Loosen it up. Okay. Now, I want you to just I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to tell you a bunch of things, and I want you to just pay attention to your body. Okay. And if I say anything bad, just know that I love you. Okay.
Oh, I love you too. No, no harm, no foul.
Okay. This is just an example.
Okay.
Life is hard. Everything hurts. As I go throughout my day, I expect to see bad and horrible things happen to me. No one loves me like they've never loved me, and I've never been loved before. I hate waking up in the morning. I hate putting my feet on the ground. I hate going to work. I hate my coworkers. I hate my boss. I just wish that I could do anything besides be here. Okay, how do you feel?
Oh my gosh. I felt my energy just come down. And when you got to those last 2 statements, I felt my stomach was actually nauseated.
Exactly. Even saying that to you, I could feel my body also like, oh my gosh, it's so like, I hate this part of the example. Don't worry, I'm gonna do another one, but that's better. But it's like, I know that my words and the stories that I tell are so powerful. I know that I am intentionally causing harm in your body when I say things like this. Luckily, it's only for a short amount of time, so there's not gonna be any lasting damage here, I promise.
Okay.
When you tell stories like that, though, even for a minute, and they're short little stories, or the story that you tell throughout the day, excuse me, even for a minute, you can feel your body start to react, right? Yeah. Okay, let's try it. I'm going to shake it out, shake it out. Get some water.
Let go of all that. Have a drink.
Okay. Everything always works out for my good. I feel amazing no matter what is happening in my life. My skin is radiant, joy flows through my body, and I feel great. My joints are bendy, my heart is pumping, my skin is smooth, my smile is bright. When I breathe in and out, every breath feels like a blessing. And as I join into my community, I feel enlivened and vibrant and excited to be there. Now, how do you feel? Hopefully you're not coughing like I am.
It's that little thing that's been going around. It's no biggie. But what happened is I felt like this weight lift off me, and I felt like I could breathe.
So imagine the stories that you tell yourself, and if they're more like the first example, and you do it all day, every day, every day, every day, it's no longer just a fleeting feeling. It becomes embedded into the way that your cells operate, into the way that you view wellness, into the way that you move forward in your life. And it's the story that creates your body, and it's the story that is created by your body.
Wow. So that makes total sense then, that it's really the stories that we tell ourselves. It's, I've like, if I'm always telling myself, oh, my dad was abusive, therefore I'm an abuse victim, therefore I'm just a victim, and if that's the story I'm telling myself, then that's what I'm creating, and my body's going to reflect that.
Exactly. I liked it. And I don't know where this coughing came from. I promise you, I have not been coughing all day. There's a release happening. There's an energetic release happening here on the call with you, Christy.
Well, that's good. Let's release.
This is good. This is good. We're just going to release it. We're going to release it out. So I like to liken stories to SEO, search engine optimization, and the way that they work within your body. So first of all, people are like, I don't know nothing about SEO, so you lost me already. I'll give you a primer. Search engine optimization is basically using keywords so you can find stuff. So you Google something, and the thing that is most popular with all those keywords pops up as a very rudimentary example, right? But you can type in keywords like green plants, Los Angeles, and depending on what's happening, you're going to get the green plants to buy. Maybe there's some kind of green plant disease happening. Maybe there's green plants down the road that are attacking other green plants. I don't know what's going on in LA. I live in LA. If that is what happens when you Google it, please let me know if I need to run around away from the plant apocalypse that's happening.
Plant apocalypse.
But you can get anything with those keywords. The stories that you tell yourself your body receives them very similarly to those keywords. So in your example, you're talking about being an abuse victim. Your father abused you, you're a victim of abuse. And even if you're like, no, I'm going to let go of that story, but you tell the story instead of, well, I am bigger than abuse. Well, I am no longer a victim. Well, the abuse will not define me. Well, the keywords are still the same.
Right.
Your body is still hearing abuse, victim, abuse, victim, abuse. So what is it going to continue to manifest? Feelings of abuse, the same emotional ramifications that you had when you felt abuse. And you're going to get even more frustrated with yourself because you're going to say, oh, I tried to change my story and that didn't work, so why bother? Writing a new story is really about a complete transformation of perspective. So a story, if we talk about just the baseline of story frameworks, a story starts off when there is a character in the story, the hero of the story. They want something real bad, like real bad. And a problem gets in the way of what they want. And that problem makes them feel some kind of way, usually bad in some way. And then enters in a guide who's like, no, I got you. I'm the perfect guide for you. Here's the plan. If you ever see a movie now, always watch the movie because there's always a scene that goes, well, here's the plan. Here's what we're going to do. And they usually say it, 1, 2, 3. Here's the plan, right? And that plan is going to call you to move forward, and it's going to lead you to success and help you avoid failure. That is how a story is structured. So then if you're listening along, you're bright. I know you're bright, dear listener. Christy's bright. I'm not worried about her. I'm talking to you. If you're listening and you're just like, how does that fit with my life? What problem, what inciting incident do I keep letting move me forward? And is it moving me forward, or am I just stuck in the problem? Stuck in the problem stage of my story, stuck, not looking for mentors, not looking up, not trying to rewrite a new story, just stuck.
Hamster wheel.
In your hamster wheel, you're refusing the call to action. You're refusing to move forward inside of your story to go through what will be a change. And with change comes trials and tribulations and things that are going to be hard. But in the end, you're promised the, golden chest or whatever it is you're trying to get, right? Right?
Exactly.
So the story that we're telling, I want you to think to yourself, what is my problem? You're cracking up. Like literally, I'm asking you, what's your problem? Because if you can identify truly what is the underlying problem that is motivating you forward, and also the problem that you are afraid to solve, you will be able to unlock the new story and then unlock the wellness that comes with it using different words, using different keywords, having a different relationship to the story that's on the outside, creating the story that's on the inside that creates the story that's on the outside.
Yes, and getting off that hamster wheel and actually moving forward on your path.
Moving forward. J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter, she had to finish the books in order to be famous. I just had to put, like, no one is excited about the author who didn't finish the story. You can't be a best-selling author if you don't finish the book. There's no Harry Potter world and all the movies and all this if she just sat there and was just stuck on the problem. She's like, man, that wizard does kill Harry's parents. I don't know where to go from here. Right? She had to finish the story for the happy ending to happen. You have to finish the story for your wellness to happen. You have to go through the process. Now, how you go through the process is up to you. So you can go through any story you want kicking and screaming, and it can be really hard, like difficult, like rough, right? You can be like, this guide gave me this plan. I'm going to do it. But man, I just know this is going to be difficult. I know this is going to be hard. I know this is going to be the worst thing I'm ever going to do. And you start to feel the clench and the tighten. And as you tighten, your cells are beginning to just say, oh my God, I'm dying, because they're being fed all this negativity. Or you can flip that, and a new story is, oh gosh, I'm so tired of being where I am now. And I can see it. I don't necessarily even believe it yet. Like, let's be 100% honest. I don't believe all the way yet that I can get to the end of this story, but it's better than where I am now. They say if you're going through hell, keep going, right? Exactly. Don't just stay here. Yeah. So if you are here still trying to solve a problem, you can say, I'm choosing to see this journey as an adventure, as opposed to hell and trial and difficulty. I am choosing to see whatever will come, because I know it's going to be just atrocious. I know that my physical healing journey is going to come with, physical therapy. I know that my emotional healing journey is going to come with emotional therapy. I know that I might have to lose a friend, or they might just leave, or I might actually need to move, or I might, but you know what? I choose right now to find the beauty in each sub-story of my bigger story. I choose to find the adventure. I choose to find the love. That's healing language. Yes. That's where you use your story to heal versus using your story to keep you stuck. If you feel like, gosh, I've tried everything in life to lose weight and I haven't been able to lose weight yet. Well, have you checked your story yet? Are you still telling a fat person's story?
Yeah, is the story, well, I've tried everything.
It
never works for me.
It never works for me. It's not going to work. I'm going to try this, but maybe it's probably not going to work either. Or even better, if you want to get deep, let's get deep. The story that you're probably really telling is, I'm not worthy of this. This trauma, drama, pain, strain that I've experienced is more difficult for me to overcome. I'm just going to hold it within my body. When I work with people as a bioenergetic business coach, or any coaching, truthfully, I actually have removed bioenergetic from my coaching title because it was scaring people away. Because they're like, what the heck is that? And I'm like, it's okay. I can work with your energy, whether you know we're doing it when you sign up or not. I tell them before we do it in the session, and I appreciate everyone's energetic sovereignty. But when we're in it, the people that come to me and they're like, yes, I want to lose weight, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. It's never the issue of motivating them to eat less or work out more. It's always that they're holding on to a story in their body. And I can look and see them hold on to the story. Mm-hmm. And so no matter what you do, you might as well just break out the tub of ice cream, because why suffer unnecessarily? At least if you're going to suffer like you're suffering now, suffer with ice cream. Cherry Garcia is my favorite.
That one is the one.
When I am holding on to all my stuff and just suffering with ice cream, that's the one I reach for. It would be better to enjoy the ice cream and to let go of those old stories at the same time. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to lead you to your goal people think that healing happens with what you can see, right? And I'm not saying that you're going to eat your ice cream and lose 50 pounds by sitting on the couch. Like, we're not in La La Land here, right?
Mm.
But if you are going to get up and move and do all the work to lose weight and do the work to change your story and let go, excavate what is holding you back and replenish it with what is going to serve your greatest good, that's when you will experience greater health, vitality, and results.
That is amazing. And I have, what pops in my head too is enjoying the journey along the way, choosing to enjoy the journey along the way. I was listening to Abraham Hicks and she said, you know, when you get in the car and you're going to drive from Miami to Los Angeles, and then you stop along the way because you need to rest and you need to eat and everything, you don't go, why am I not there yet? Gosh darn it. Why isn't this happening for me? You know that it's to take this time to make the journey and that it's going to culminate in ending up where you want to be. So I love that, you know, where that choosing gives you the empowerment instead of always being in victim mode from whatever it is that
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love Abraham Hicks, and we've had conversations about Abraham. I'm newer to Abraham than you are, and I'm just like still in the, oh my God, where have you been all my life moment. One of my spiritual teachers, his name is John Roger. And John Roger is in spirit now is an amazing teacher. And through his teachings, I learned the difficulty of belief and the easiness of knowing. The reason why you don't freak out when you have to stop in between on a trip from any place to any other place is because you know that you are going there. You know that it exists. Other people have told you about it. You've seen pictures of it. You know that Los Angeles is in fact a real place. Right? It actually sounds kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs to say Los Angeles. Nah, I don't believe you. That doesn't exist. Nah. Right?
It's not a real place.
That's not a real place. I mean, I live in LA and sometimes I do wonder, but for the most part, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I'm from San Diego. So yeah, we wonder about LA too.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But that's the power of knowing. It doesn't take any effort, right?
Yeah.
Belief is hard. To believe that LA existed, if you really didn't know, or if you believe that your wellness is possible, to believe that you can lose the weight, to believe that you will make $1 million, to believe that you will accomplish your goals, that's hard. So how then can you use your story to slowly move from belief to knowing? How can you then architect your experiences to give you little slivers of knowing along the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talk about, so let's go back to losing weight. In the overall scheme of things, I told you, we have a character that wants to lose weight. The problem that gets in the way, or so they're thinking, right, is that their diet and exercise aren't working, and the real problem is a story that they're telling themselves. You have a guide named Aleya Harris, who one day came on the Chronically Healthy Life podcast and show and told you that your issue is your story. And I was like, here's what we're going to do. Step A, step B, step C, right? This is literally what we're talking about. And so then I'm painting the picture of you to success, which is you losing the weight, feeling great, feeling wonderful, or failure, which is continuing to be overweight and getting more frustrated.
And staying in hell.
And staying in hell, not keeping on going through hell if you're in hell. But all of that is a big story, right? You're like, okay, great. I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to feel wonderful. Yay. Who are you? Jenny from Jenny Craig? Like, I've heard that before. It requires a lot of belief. It does. Even if you think that I am the bee's knees, it still requires a lot of belief. It doesn't matter how cool you think I am or even how cool you think you are. So instead of telling just that grand story, let's start to tell smaller stories throughout the day, right? To prove to yourself that the bigger story is possible. So when I tell myself the smaller story of, I want to eat this cookie, but the problem is I'm sad and I feel like this cookie will make me better. And you decide to find someone, something, some resource that will help you feel better. Not eat the cookie, but to feel better, to change your story in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so you say, instead of eating a cookie right now, I am going to watch Abraham Hicks video, right? Do something that makes you feel good. And afterwards, you're like, if I do that, then I will feel better. I won't have eaten the cookie, which is X number of calories. And I will also not have the need to eat the cookie. But if I don't, then failure for me looks like eating the cookie, feeling bad, and then feeling worse because I ate the cookie, which I know I wasn't supposed to eat. So then after you don't eat the cookie, you watch the Abraham Hicks video, and you realize that you were able to attain success. You're like, wait a minute. What other stories could I tell myself? Because I am now one step closer to this big grandiose story, and I have a stronger belief, which is almost borderlining on knowing that I can do this, that I can change my story, that I can change how I approach my story, that I can change how I approach this entire perspective of this situation differently than how I was before. I actually went from believing that I could do it to now, the more I do this, I know that I can do this. I know this is possible. And it's just like knowing that Los Angeles exists. Right?
Yes. And you've created a situation where you are every little step, you're working on that inner self that, I'm sad. I just want to dive into a vat of Ben and Jerry's Cherry Garcia because I'm sad. And
many a pint of Cherry Garcia has gone down in that way.
Rest in peace. Yes. That's what keeps them in business.
I was single-handedly keeping them in business for a while there. I get it.
Yeah. But like maybe right now, maybe it's just that I'm hungry. Maybe I need to, find that avenue. Maybe I need to pick up the 4 agreements and review that. Or maybe I need to take a walk and breathe some air. Maybe I need to get away from work for a few minutes. That all those kinds of things that, especially if you're in a position where you have a boss that's breathing in your throat, which used to depress me. I was a teacher. I was depressed almost all the time until I stopped teaching.
I think that the better thing to do is what in alignment with what you're saying is not asking yourself, how do I lose weight? How do I make $1 million? How do I find the next guide to help me reach my goals? How do I find the next moment that will help me take that next step? Because you have guides for larger things. You might have a coach, you might have a mentor, right? Or even a best friend who's really carrying you along in your journey. They've been there, they've done that before, they can help you out. But they're not there with you in that cookie. Right? They're not. And you wouldn't want them to be either, because then you just get mad at them for preventing you from eating the cookie. And then you wouldn't even get to have the lesson that lives within you, to be relying on them too much, right?
Yeah.
So the question you want to ask yourself is, in my journey to whatever you want, whatever wellness you want, whatever goal you want to achieve, what are my moment by moment guides? In this moment, what do I need to guide me to what I want in this moment? And have a curiosity around that part of your story. Because doing anything completely on your own is rough. There's no such thing as a self-made millionaire. There's also no such thing as a self-made healthy person, right? Although we have these beautiful LifeWave patches, I have one on my belly right now. They're awesome. And it's this reverse aging, and not more than anti-aging. It's wonderful. But I didn't make the patch. I didn't even know about them. Christy told me about them.
I did.
Right? I need in that moment, it came up in our conversation. She was the guide I needed in that moment. And then she gave me something else to help guide my process, to help solve this problem for me. Right? So that's what I mean about that momentary guide. It's a moment in a larger story, but stories are made up of moments. Moments that are happening with characters and in between yourself that are leading you to your happily ever after.
Absolutely. You know, going back to what you were saying at the beginning about the way we phrase our story, that can be a very powerful, tiny little baby step that we can take that starts the process real, like instead of, oh, well, I'm a victim of abuse from my childhood, which is using those key words. It's, some people now say I'm a survivor of abuse, but they're still focused on abuse.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can we stop there for a second?
Yeah.
I think, didn't we talk about this?
Yes.
I think we did. I hate this. And people, y'all probably gonna be mad at me. You were rolling with me up until this very moment. I don't like people that say I'm a cancer survivor, I'm an abuse survivor, because it is all you hear is abuse, cancer, whatever. And even survivor, that word by itself brings up well, what did you just survive? It is a comparative word that's constantly drawing you back to your pain. Constantly. I don't want to be a cancer survivor. I just want to be a healthy person.
Yeah.
Sorry. You were saying?
That's exactly right. So it's like, how do you reframe that language so that you're not focused on the problem?
Yes, you're just focused on. So it's all, we have this thing, and I mean, we like humans, and I'm a human too. So I also have this thing. So there's no judgment here, but there's just like, I wish this thing would go away. Where we feel the need to constantly leave reference points in our lives, because if we feel like if we don't, we're going to go back there, especially for traumatic events, that we do not trust ourselves enough to believe, there's that believing again, that we've learned the lesson. And if we don't leave a reference point, we're going to have to relearn that lesson because we didn't really learn it the first time. So when I went through cancer, when I went through abuse, or for me, I just have gone through postpartum depression. When I went through that, I would have to say, I'm a postpartum depression survivor in order to remember never to do that again. But unfortunately, what you're doing is remembering to do it again over and over and over and over again.
Exactly.
Instead, I want to say things for postpartum. I'm a happy human. I'm a healthy mom. Joy lives through me. My word of the year for 2024 is bliss, because that's what I'm reaching for, right? Bliss. I want to just bliss out. I know it's so cliche. Follow your bliss. I don't care. This is my word of the year. I'm going to be cliche if I want to be.
That's right. And no judgment here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Even saying something like losing weight is still focused on the fact that you think you're fat.
Exactly.
So, it's like, I think I'm choosing to eat healthier. I'm choosing to eat more fruits and vegetables.
Yeah. Or even what I've seen people do is like, I'm training for a marathon. That is not about that at all. It's almost like a afterthought. Yeah. Because if you're training for a marathon, you gonna lose some weight.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, Aleya, we're going to have you back because this is an amazing discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And I apologize for coughing in your face. I'm so sorry. I haven't all day.
How can people reach out to you to find you?
If you're following along on the screen, you can see that the lovely producer has put up my contact information. Feel free to email me directly at aleya@aleyaharris.com or aleyaharris.com. You can find out all about me. Send me an email, pop time on my calendar. I would love to speak with you.
Well, we'll be talking very soon. Yes, and everybody, stay tuned. Thank you so much, Aleya. And stay tuned. Coming up is our biohacking tip of the week.
Hey everyone, it's Andy, and on this week's biohacking episode of the Chronically Healthy Life, I wanted to talk about the benefits of grass-fed beef. So there's a lot of news circulating that eating meat or beef is actually bad for you, that it can cause heart attacks, that they are high in saturated fats and can raise your cholesterol, and cholesterol can lead to heart conditions and strokes and all these things. Well, studies have now shown that saturated fats is actually good for you, right? A lot of these studies that show saturated fats were not good for you. Well, guess what? They're 40, 50, 60 years old. And remember smoking back in the day when you said that smoking couldn't cause cancer? Well, same thing. Now that we know that it can cause cancer, no one smokes anymore, right? It's the same thing about saturated fats. Saturated fats is actually not bad for you. It's all the other fats out there that can cause problems that arose back in 1960 from Dr. Ansel Keys that demonized fat, and that's where margarine started coming out, trans fat, processed meats, all the low fats that they use like sugar and salt to give you added flavoring. All these things is actually what's causing the heart attacks, the strokes, and even type 2 diabetes that's blamed on eating regular good quality meat. So, for centuries, years, for the dawn of time, hunter-gatherers have always eaten meat as their main source of protein. And even around the world now, there are a lot of people that mainly just eat meat. Like the Inuits, for instance, I think 90% of their diet is meat. So you can't say that meat can cause heart problems. In fact, studies have shown that centurions, people that lived over 100, a lot of them are when they tested their blood, a lot of them actually are very high in cholesterol, and yet they have no heart problems, dispelling the myth that high cholesterol can cause heart problems and heart attacks, right? And beef, especially grass-fed beef, they are so high in nutrients. They are protein dense, which is the building blocks for your life. It builds your tissues, it builds your bones, it builds your hormones, it builds your digestive enzymes and all sorts of things. And guess what? They're high in vitamin, they're high in vitamin D, they're high in iron, zinc, omega-3 fatty acids, which is the good fatty acids. It's also high in vitamin A and retinol, which is the form that you want. You want retinol in the form of vitamin A, which is only found in beef. It's very different from the vitamin A in fruits and vegetables, which is not retinol. And it's also high in different forms of vitamin B, 2, 3, 6, and 12, which is totally deficient in a lot of vegetarian diets, right? So it's very important to make sure you get some beef in your diet. And the funny thing I do want to say, when it comes to beef, are they all the same? Well, it's not, right? Make sure you're eating grass-fed, grass-finished beef that is pasture-raised, not something that's coming from these factory farms that can be feeding their cattle soy-based proteins, which can be high in chemicals and pesticides. These cows that are factory farmed tend to get sick a lot more and usually are high in antibiotics. So definitely try to stay away from those. Stay away from processed meats, of course. They are high in salt. They are high in sugar, right? And high in nitrates, all bad preservatives that can cause heart problems, right? So when it comes down to, does meat and saturated fat cause problems? Well, it actually isn't the meat or saturated fat that causes problems. It's all these other things that are in the bad meats that can be causing that problem. So I really hope that solves, the whole argument is beef good for you. I'm not saying that you should eat it every day, but we're in Texas. Everywhere here you can see pasture-raised, grass-fed, grass-finished beef. But fire up the barbecue, or fire up your stove, whatever works for you, or your oven, and cook some beef now. Very great source for protein, great for your heart, and great for longevity. I'll see you next week.
Hello, we are Mutza Meows Rescue, a 501c3 nonprofit, foster-based, no-kill group. Mutts and Meows Rescue pulls dogs and cats from surrounding shelters in the greater Houston area. We even pick up dogs and cats abandoned on the streets. Mutts and Meows Rescue is foster-based and rely on your donations to keep rescuing. To know more about us is to know more about our furry friends and help them find their forever homes. Come visit us at Mutts and Meows Rescue on Facebook today and decide how you can make a difference.
Welcome back to Chronically Healthy Life. So I love Aleya's interview with Christy. I think the storytelling is so powerful, especially when she brought up the part about being a survivor of some kind of victim. I've heard a lot, like when I first meet a lot of people, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a cancer survivor," or I was abused as a kid, or something like that. And that's almost like the first thing people like to tell you. So it's also that they are telling themselves to bring them back to that time, but they're also bringing me back to that time, which I don't really care to know. I just want to know what the future brings you, right?
That is so true, but she makes storytelling so easy.
It's powerful and
It's so powerful. I was almost imagining myself as a little kid sitting in the library with the librarian telling me a story from her very beginning. It was so powerful, and storytelling, it's like what we said from the very beginning, our beliefs. It's like what you're telling ourselves can really form your life and your story, right?
For sure. You know how my mom is always sick?
Yes.
And she's telling us, well, you're just like me. You're going to be sick all your life. And, I believe it for a long time. And I was really sick for a long time until the last 8 years or so.
Yeah.
Never sick.
Last 8 to 10 years, we travel. You never get sick anymore.
It's all about how I react to it. We take control over our health.
Exactly.
And you don't have to be like your parents.
Exactly. So storytelling is very powerful. So be careful what stories you're telling yourself today. So next week we have Juliet Clark as our guest. And from my understanding, it's going to be a very interesting interview with Christy because they're very good friends.
Awesome. So you join us back here on Friday, 7 p.m. CST. And you can watch this episode and past episodes at watch.e360.com in the Vitality TV network. And of course, we'd love to hear from you. Anything you want to tell us or to Christy, email us at anything@chronicallyhealthylife.com or drop us your comments on our Facebook page, chronicallyhealthylife.com, or even, rewatch this on our YouTube channel, which is also something called chronicallyhealthylife.com, something like that. Anyways, I'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Hi there, I'm Dawn Livingston, your host on the Transcend and Succeed show. Join me Fridays at 2 p.m. Central for limitless inspiration and ways to help you transcend your limitations. Tune into the Achieve TV network and the Voyage to Vitality channel. Transcend and Succeed show, right here on E360 TV.